Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the sages of New England, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." I have never been at a hearing where what's being done is at such variance with what is being said. Mr. Prochaska, you waxed eloquent about the talented and dedicated staff of ARPA-E and all the great work that they've done. Their budget's being cut by 57%. How do you justify all this nice talk about what you're going to do when your agency's being cut more than in half? You can talk till you're blue in the face, but what speaks here is 57% cut. Tell me, and you went through your entire testimony, all of your answers to your questions until you got to Senator Cortez Masto and never once mentioned renewables. The fastest growing, cheapest source of electricity in the United States today. And let me read from the budget document. Green new scam technologies are not supported. That's in the ARPA-E budget document. Green new scam technology are not supported. That means no renewables, right? You've got an order from the President of the United States, no renewables. Is that correct?
That is not correct, Senator.
Well, so he didn't mean new, what does he mean, green new scam technologies? He's talking about solar and wind. Everybody knows that.
Senator, I can't opine on what the definition of that language is. I can commit to, if confirmed, that the ARPA-E and the portfolio that we investigate and we look into will include all technologies, as I mentioned to the senator.
So it was just a coincidence that when you listed the technologies, the nearest you got to renewables was a mention of geothermal last. You never mentioned solar and wind, and you used the code word reliable, which is a new code word for we don't like solar and wind because they're intermittent. But as you indicated in your answer to Senator Cortez Masto, when you have batteries with solar and wind, it's base load. Is that correct?
Senator, it very well could be. It depends on the situation. But the portfolio that we will investigate will include all technologies, and reliable is important to the energy that we need for the future to fund some of the emerging technologies that we've talked about.
I appreciate what you're saying here. What I'm going to watch is what you do.
Understood.
Because budgets are policy. And this budget, the policy of this budget is a drastic cut, more than half in ARPA-E. I think one of the most important agencies in the United States government. It's where fracking started. The shale revolution started with research funds from the Department of Energy. And we're talking about a more than half cut. So I'm gonna watch what you do and not what you say. Now, Mr. Mamala, you talked about the importance of data and science and all of those kinds of things, and yet there have been reports in the last few weeks that biological research in the USGS is being cut entirely, and 25 water science centers, which are stream gauges measuring storms. I get the feeling this is like, if we don't measure anything on climate change, it'll go away. Is that what's going on here?
I don't think so, Senator. Thanks for the question. Let's discuss it. Again, I'm not at the survey, but I want to take a look. If confirmed, I want to go out and look at each and every single program, its budget, and cuts proposed.
Well, somebody's already done that and cut your budget 37% before you even walk in the door.
Yeah, well, again,
that's done.
The cut.
Assuming Congress agrees, which I hope they won't.
Yeah, I don't know about that either, but I'm not familiar. But the program, the contents of the program that has a cut associated with it, I'm not familiar. I don't know what's being cut.
I thought you're pretty familiar with USGS.
I am, but I don't know what's.
Do you believe it's appropriate to cut all of their biological research programs?
Well, I have to see what they're talking about. If they're talking about
all means all, as I understand it.
Yeah. Well, I would be more comfortable, once confirmed, looking at that and saying, okay, is this a cut deserved, or should we actually have a plus up, or what? I want to be there.
How about eliminating 25 water research centers around the country? Is that a good idea? You talked rhapsodically to Senator Hickenlooper about data and how important data is. This is critically important data that appears we're not going to collect anymore.
I want to see, again, what cuts they're talking about. That'll tell me where the data is either being cut or not being cut, and then what's left on the table, then we say, yes, we can still do our mission with what has not been cut. It looks to me like
what's being cut is data that will be produced to demonstrate the danger of climate change to our economy, to our people, to our country, to our environment. That's if, and you know, not collecting the data doesn't mean the problem isn't going to be there. Collecting the data can alert us to where there are problems and where we can deal with them. I hope that you say you're going to look at this. The problem is, as I say, you're walking into a shop that's already been cut by more than a third. So, Mr. Chairman, this isn't personal for you people. I don't know you. I'm sure you want to do the right thing, but let's get real here and try to face the reality, and to come in here and talk, you know, about how wonderful USGS is and how wonderful ARPA-E is, which I think it is, at the same time that it's being cut. These two agencies are being cut, in one case by over 50%, by other case by more than a third. It just doesn't pass the straight face test. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.